It's Jose with Oakland Latinos United, aka Oakland Latinos Unidos, with part two of the interview with Juan Espinosa. We were talking about the history of West Oakland, about the old Latino neighborhood or Chicano Raza neighborhood that used to be in West Oakland. We talked about the murder of Pinky de Vaca by the Oakland police in 1968 and about how he went to Castlemont High School and grew up in the 6-9 And now we're going to go more into detail about an organization that I've heard a lot about. And I want to know more about them because there's not a lot of information about them. And the organization used to work with the Black Panthers and set up a free breakfast program and did patrols on the streets. And they were kind of like the Chicano vanguard of Oakland. And unfortunately, there's not much history about them and not much known. So Juan was a member of this organization, and we're going to talk in detail about it. And that organization is the Chicano Revolutionary Party. So to start off, how did you join the Chicano Revolutionary Party, and how did it start, and who started it?
I was 16 years old in 1968. Mm-hmm. I knew three people, Al Loera, Big Al, Mike Rivera, and Frank Chavez. And they were members of the CRP, the Chicano Revolutionary Party. And I would hang out with them, and they asked me to join. So I became a member of the CRP from 1968 to 1975.
And what was the main objective of the Chicano Revolutionary Party?
To monitor police and police harassment.
And what kind of stuff did you guys do to monitor them?
Oh, we did everything from take their pictures. We monitored their role in the Fruitvale area in East 14th. We would hang out at Doggy Diners off of East 14th and Fruitvale.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Mm-hmm. And did you guys ever get raided or harassed by them, by the OPD?
Well, we had an office on East 15th and Fruitvale.
By the Elk Pines, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had it pretty well fortified, and we were armed to the tooth. And they would try to come in and harass us, but we would not allow them to come in. And I remember a couple of nights, on about 4 or 5 different occasions, they would surround the building and talk about coming in and arresting us.
Wow. Was it pretty scary, man?
Yeah.
I would bet. And did the OPD ever harass you personally, like single you out from the organization?
Well, I know one time I took their pictures. They grabbed me and put me up against the wall. They talk about beating me down. The other thing, I was questioned by the FBI in 1970 when I was at Dewey High School. They took me to their office in Oakland by the library and accused me of being a member of the CLF, the Chicano Liberation Front, which did a lot of they did a lot of bombings of Safeway stores and the Bank of Americas.
Yeah. They bombed a couple of stores in Oakland, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that.
One night they bombed 5 different spots. One in San Francisco, 2 in Oakland, 1 in Hayward, and 1 in San Jose. And they were known for doing that. And the CLF, when they accused me of being a member, they tried to get me to talk and tell them what I was doing with the CLF. They harassed us pretty much.
So these were pretty radical times, man.
Oh yeah.
Pretty militant. So one claim to fame that the Chicano Revolutionary Party has that a lot of people have asked me about, and you probably could give me more detail about it, is the work they did with the Black Panthers and the free breakfast programs you guys established with the help of the Black Panthers. Can you elaborate more on that? We talked a little bit last time, but let's elaborate a little bit more on it this time.
Yeah, well, the Black Panther Party helped us to set up the breakfast programs, and we served a lot of Chicanos at all three sites. Fed them eggs, bacon, oatmeal, milk, bread. You know, we had it going on.
And you met Bobby Seale and Huey Newton and all those guys, right?
Yeah, Eldridge Cleaver, Elaine Brown.
Did you ever meet the Japanese guy, Richard Aoki?
No.
You never met him. You heard of him though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you heard this whole story about him, right? What happened recently? That they said that he was an informant or something like that.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that came out about roughly 10 years ago.
Well, I know when the CRP was around, they tried to infiltrate the CRP, but we had such a strong tie to all our members that we would not allow them to come in and be part of infiltrating the group.
Yeah. And did the CRP work together with groups like the Black Panthers, not the Black Panthers, the Brown Berets, the Chicano, La Raza Unida Party, Frente Liberación del Pueblo?
We were close with the Brown Berets. We also became very close with the great Corky Gonzalez from the Crusade for Justice out of Colorado. He had a lot of respect for our group and liked what we were doing.
And Corky came many times to Oakland, right? From what I understand.
Yeah. Anytime he came to Oakland, we would hook up with him and help him out.
Like I heard that he was one of the main speakers at when they did the Chicano moratorium at San Antonio Park.
Right.
Yeah, you were there, right?
Oh yeah.
And how was that march at San Antonio Park? They marched from Jingletown to San Antonio Park.
Yeah, big. I mean, a lot of fucking people.
So it was pretty dope. And that was the build up to the Chicano moratorium in LA, correct?
Correct.
And this is what people don't know. Oakland played a role in the organization of the Chicano moratorium.
Yeah.
For sure. And people don't know this.
Yeah, I was arrested at the Chicano moratorium August 29, 1970. I was arrested with Carlos Camacho and Jesse Dominguez. Camacho was part of the CRP, and Jesse was part of the Black Berets out of San Jose. And we got busted with a 30 caliber carbine, a shotgun, a 38, and a 357.
And for those who don't know what the Chicano moratorium is, because a lot of my viewers are probably young, what was the Chicano moratorium?
It was to protest the Vietnam War.
And it was...
You had over 20 to 30,000 Chicanos rally at the park. And the police department came in, disrupted everything. They threw concussion bombs from the helicopters and tear gas. And they disrupted the whole thing.
Wow.
Now, I got arrested that night. And Corky got me a lawyer. My mom came down to get me out. And he got me a lawyer and told my mom, he apologized to my mom for the moratorium being disrupted by the police department. He said, he told her that we try to have a peaceful event, but the police would not allow it to be. And he told her that anytime you need help with Juan Big John Espinosa, this is my phone number, and you can contact me day or night, and I'll do what I can to help out.
And another important thing that I wanted to ask, besides Corky Gonzalez, the Chicano moratorium, what was the reasoning why the CRP disappeared or broke away?
Well, in 75, the group started to disband. People started to move out of the area. My friend Carlos Camacho shot and killed a Puertorriqueño guy named Monia, and that helped dissolve the group.
Okay. And what year was this?
1974, 75.
And did you also know another organization, Frente Liberación del Pueblo by Manuel Delgado?
Yeah.
Okay, and I heard they had also get a big walkout of all the schools in Oakland, and they went to I think the Fairfax Theater, and then marched to the Induction Center. Were you part of that protest?
Oh, yeah.
And that was a pretty big protest by students as well, correct?
Right. There also was a group called the Young Lords, Puerto Rican group.
From Chicago, right?
Right.
Did they have a chapter in the Bay Area?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. What city were they in?
Oakland.
Wow, I had no idea the Young Lords were in Oakland. That's news to me. And there was also the Black Berets in San Jose, correct?
Right.
Did you guys do work with them?
Oh, yeah, because my original karate instructors, Luis Angel Vinegra, and his brother Joel Vinegra, were part of the Black Berets from San Jose. And they taught us karate, and we became black belts out of the school.
So everything was self-defense at that time. How to use the arm, how to defend yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty dope. So after the dissolvement of the Chicano Revolutionary Party, you ended up moving to Hayward, correct?
That's correct.
What part of Hayward did you live in?
I lived on off of Tennyson.
And how was Hayward at this time?
Hayward was, a lot of raza.
A lot of Chicanos, right?
A lot of Chicanos, yeah. You had Chicanos on the east side, west side,
North side.
there was a group called on Yellow Street. There was people on A Street. It was pretty well situated.
Yeah, and over there you got involved, or you at least created a show called Barrio Expressions, correct?
That's correct.
And how did that come about?
Originally, the show was called Lo Que Es, and they were college students from Ohlone Junior College.
In Fremont, right?
Out of Fremont.
Uh-huh.
And they had the show, and their focus was lowriders, but they would mock lowriders and make fun of. And so I called them up and cussed them out a couple of times. And after about the second or third call, they said, look, if you want to change the show, you're welcome to come down here and do what you can.
And for how many years did you guys do this show?
From 1976 to 1985.
And what cities did you guys focus on mostly? Hayward,
San Leandro, San Lorenzo, and parts of Union City.
Did you guys do stuff in Oakland too?
Yeah.
Okay, and where was this? Where was the scene? What channels was this on at the time?
It was on Hayward Cable.
Okay, it was like a public access channel, right?
Correct.
And the show, what was the show about exactly?
The show.
Your version of it, I mean.
Yeah, after we took over the show, our focus was the labeling and monitoring of Raza youth as gang members because of their style of dress.
And at that time, this is like the era. A lot of people are familiar on YouTube with the documentary "Children of Violence," and this is the era where that was the thing: the cholo style, wearing khakis, the lowriders. That whole thing was big at the time, and I sort of remember that time. I was a kid, but I can remember like if you dressed like that, you were a cholo, you were the worst of the worst, right. And that was the stereotype at the time. But you guys were trying to break away from that stereotype, right?
Right.
Yeah, and as far as gang violence in Hayward and Oakland, how bad was it at that time?
Well, it would go off and on, People,
wasn't as bad as today, I would imagine.
Yeah, no, people from Oakland would come into Hayward and try to disrupt things, and so they had it going on for a little bit. There was
also, I heard, a gang war between A Street and Dakota, right?
Oh, yeah.
And what was that all about?
Just people from different values not getting along.
Just sex tripping.
Mm-hmm.
And how successful was the show?
Well, we were on once a week, every Thursday night from 8 to 8:30. the show, out of 25 shows, we were the most watched show on Hayward Cable. We were pretty popular. As a matter of fact, we got approved by San Jose State Chicano Studies Department to historically preserve our shows for all time.
Yeah, I remember you told me that. And you told me that you guys might be doing a new version of it in Sacramento, right?
Yes, I'm hooking up with brother Stephen Payan from the Sacramento Brown Berets. He's got about 12 people that want to work on Barrio Expressions too, 36 years after the show ended.
All right, man. So that basically wraps up my questions because we're a little bit out of time. But I wanted to do this interview for a long time, Juan, because I want the youth out there and the younger people to know this history, especially Chicanos and Raza from the Bay Area. And if you could leave any words of inspiration or anything you want to give to the young Raza of today, what can you tell them?
Continue to struggle. Do not be afraid. The pressures that are put on you by the police departments, the city council, or the mayor, and struggle because Raza youth and the movement will always be there.
For sure. All right, Juan. Well, thanks for doing this interview with me. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I'm glad you gave me this history. You know me, I'm working on the history of Chicanos and Raza in Oakland and the Bay Area, and you're a wealth of knowledge, bro, about this. You know what I mean? And thank you for interviewing me. I mean, thank you for giving me this interview. I'm sorry. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the interview, and I'll send you a link to the video when it's ready. Okay. And yeah, man, if you want to leave it at Chicano Power, Chicano Power, all power to the people, right?
All right.
Órale pues, that's Juan Espinosa from Oakland, Califas, out here at his house, giving this interview. Let me know what you guys think. Like the video, leave a comment. This is part 2, and we're out.